All right, here's part A of the second FRQ that you guys were working on Monday. We have a piecewise function here, a square root function, and then this function that's, you might have studied in Math 3, a linear function combined with trigonometric function. Let f be defined by this guy. Find the average rate of change of f on the interval from -3 to 4. When I was grading these, a lot of students are making a very common mistake about the two different types of averages we take in calculus. Average rate of change is change in y values divided by change in x. It's basically slope. Okay, I'm going to compare this right now with part C. Okay, I'm going to put them side by side if I can, maybe top and bottom. There we go. That said average value of a function. Average value of a function is something from chapter 6. We always talk about the difference between rates and amounts. A value would be like an amount. So in this case, this formula had to do with definite integrals, where we add all the areas under the f curve from a to b and then divide by that interval from a to b. So we talked about averaging values would be adding and then dividing, whereas an average rate of change is a slope value. So what we need here to find the average rate of change, we will take f of 4 minus f of -3 all over 4 minus -3. So we already know, many of you got the denominator correct, would be 7. But here we need to use the different functions. So I'll go up here for f of -3, it's just the square root of 9 minus -3 squared. -3 squared is 9, so we get a 0. So f of -3 was 0. I'm running out of room here, so I'll go over here, f of 4. Plugging it in here. Now notice how I had to switch functions. -3 is the first piece, but 4 is in the second piece of this piecewise function. So I use this piece to substitute. Pi over 2, I'm going to think about this as x times pi over 2 really when I work on it. So the x value that I'm plugging in here is a 4. And I'm going to go ahead and reduce this right now because I can see that 4 divided by 2 is going to leave me with a 2, so I can evaluate cosine of 2 pi. So here we have both FRQs that I assigned you on Monday where we really need to remember our unit circle. Now you guys will be lucky enough to have a calculator in front of you, but sometimes the unit circle is actually faster to think about. Cosine of 2 pi without picking up or touching any buttons. I know 2 pi is back here. I know cosine is the x value as I see on my unit circle. That's got a value of 1. And -4 plus 3 is, -1. So -1 minus 0 gives me -1/7 as my average rate of change. A lot of you guys got that, but there was still some confusion. So this is all one function, even though it's divided up around a 0. Average rate of change, we don't have to think of it as two separate pieces. Just plug in the two x values, subtract them from those two new y values, divided by the change in x.